It's the new style. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1.
In the booth with the people of fresh. There was one DJ who had to pass the test, and now he's down below and he's ready to play. That's right, y'all. His name is AJ. Never gets nervous when he cuts the beat. He gives that line service in the clutch on the street. A completely they can't be beat. Cause AJ never knew the agony of defeat.
Yeah. Let me go and cut it right now. I tell you, it is Talk Your Team Tuesday here on the lunch break. And we are being powered by Jones Media, and I'm sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. Jones Media and Entertainment, and we are streaming live on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. So I want to thank Ben Sutter III for giving us a shot to be a part of the BS3 network, and I want to thank all the good folks working for JM&E getting this thing up and running. So Talk Your Team Tuesday. There is a lot to talk about. Still a lot going on in the NFL with other quarterbacks out there not yet deciding where they're going to go. Other players trying to decide where they're going to go. We had a lot of flurry about a week and a half ago, but now there's still some big ones to determine. And the NBA is coming down the stretch. Final, 9-10 games left in the regular season. Golden State found out last night. Ain't nobody scared of Golden State, especially without them having Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. But man, Memphis showed out without their primetime player and Ja Morant. Man, they beat Golden State by 28-29. It's about to be playoff time. 1 minute, Boston was in first place in the East. The next minute, they are all the way down to fourth place. So it is a lot going on. And then, of course, the Final Four is right around the corner. This Saturday, it's about to go down. So let's talk about it all. Who's your team? What sport do you want to talk about? Hit me up right now. 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. Hit me up. Let me know who's your team and what you want to talk about. I'm down for it all. So, hey, CJ, I'm going to tell you right now, I am totally against whatever the NCAA is talking about where Memphis is concerned. Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers, I'm not saying they didn't do anything. I'm just saying they shouldn't be on the top of the NCAA's list. And if the NCAA did not announce those level of violations at Kansas, who's on their way to the Final Four, at Duke, who's on their way to the Final Four, at North Carolina, who's on their way to the Final Four, at Arizona, who's not on their way to the Final Four, but their former head coach is now taking a job over at Xavier in Cincinnati. And if they're not talking about those schools in addition to Memphis, then don't be talking to me about Memphis. I say it every time. The NCAA goes after who they want, and they get who they want. Now, if they don't want you, they're not going to go after you, and they're not going to try to get you. So, again, all the Memphis fans out there, listen, do like Kansas and say, hey, we're going to fight back and fight back and fight back. Captain Trey Pike, what's up? Where are you, man? Are you out in the water somewhere? Are you up next to some horses somewhere? You out there turkey hunting? What are you doing, Captain Trey Pike? One of the coolest dudes I have yet to meet in person. All right. So where do y'all want to start? Not only can you call me on that number, but you can text me on that number, 832-403-5005. There are a lot of people that are talking about this Duke, North Carolina game like it is the best thing in the world. I was just watching The Mothership, and the question was, is Duke and North Carolina the best rivalry, not in college, but in sports? And I'm just telling, man, you got to be kidding me. I mean, come on. That I get tired of the greatest of all time comments. I mean, I don't understand how people cannot enjoy, the greatest basketball players of all time, not one being greater than the other. I was grateful to be able to see Dr. J and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins and all of those guys. I was glad to be able to see, and a lot of them overlapped one another. Karl Malone. I'm not going to say his point guard's name because he got some problems. Woo-wee, boy, it's spinning around in there. But anyway, I was glad to see those players, and never once did I stop and say, I wonder which one's the greatest of all time. And I said, I wonder who I get to see play tonight. And, same thing with Shaq and Kobe and all the other great players that were in that era as well. So, North Carolina and Duke is not the greatest rivalry of all time. It's not. It's just not. You got the LA Lakers and the Boston Celtics, battling 17, 18 championships. You got 11 between North Carolina and Duke. So, it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. It's great that they have such close proximity. They are definitely blue bloods in college basketball, but on any given Saturday, Ohio State and Michigan is, you got 10 times the people at that game than you do at North Carolina and Duke on any given whatever day they play on. They're just, I'm sorry. It's just not. It's just not. It's just not. You got baseball rivalries. You got basketball rivalries. You got football rivalries. I mean, let's not get too crazy. I know that this is solid goal for the NCAA, that they've got those two teams meeting in the Final Four against one another, for the first time in that tournament history. Okay, enjoy that. Enjoy that. And again, I know it's not the NCAA that's making that statement. It's us. It's us in the media that, oh man, I got a great question. Listen, it's just not so. Let's not get too far. There were boxing matches that have as much going on as that. Hell, there have been WrestleMania events that have as much going on as North Carolina and Duke on any given day that they play. Captain Trey Pike, dry land today, taking a break from boat work for a 3-day stretch this weekend. Man, enjoy yourself, brother. Enjoy yourself. All right. I am down in our studio, so I'm not sure what's happening. Y'all, please forgive me. Please forgive me, because one thing I don't like is poor quality stuff. I do not like poor quality stuff, and JM&E is not going to be about poor quality stuff. So y'all forgive me. I will definitely be getting with StreamYard and our internet service provider and try and find out who keeps screwing up. All right, so now let's talk about some of these NBA standings right now, real quick. Let me go to my trusty information. Standings heading down the stretch. The East is stacked from 1 to 4. From 1 to 4, it's just, we're talking about a game separating those 4 teams. The Miami Heat are in first place right now, 48-28. 48-28. 6 games left to play. 6 games left to play, and they are up by 1 game on the 76ers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Boston Celtics. All 3 of those teams are only 1 game out of first place, right behind the Miami Heat. That is good, fun, competitive basketball down the stretch. Who is going to get that number 1 spot, as Luda would say? Hey, Keith Hennick, can the Miami Heat hold on to it? Can the Philadelphia 76ers step up and get it? Can Milwaukee finally get in that number 1 spot? Boston was there for like 5 minutes. Boston was there for like 5 minutes earlier this week. I believe it was over the weekend. And now they're all the way down to number 4. So, again, if the playoffs started today, and I'm not talking about playing stuff, it would be the Miami Heat taking on the Brooklyn Nets. And I got to tell you, Miami, I don't think they want that in their first round matchup. Number 2 seed Philadelphia would take on Cleveland. Same thing. I don't think Philadelphia wants that first round matchup. They're not still quite sure what they got with who they have. So we'll see. And then number 3, Brooklyn and Toronto. I think Brooklyn can handle that. Although Toronto stepped up, played well last night, you got to win 4 out of 7. You got to win 4 out of 7. And again, Miami against Brooklyn, 4 out of 7, that could definitely go either way. Philadelphia against this Cleveland team that has surprised a lot of people, that could definitely go either way. And then Milwaukee and Toronto, I'd lean towards Milwaukee in that. And then the number 4 versus 5, Boston versus the Bulls. Man, the Bulls started off so hot. But I tell people all the time, man, you got to get down in the 4 out of 7 category before you get my attention. And Chris Gardner has ruined me. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review, has ruined me for the regular season. I mean, to me, the regular season at this point matters because it's about the seeding. But all that other stuff, playoff time, baby. Playoff time. First round, second round, third round, finals. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So teams with a chance to get into the playoffs, into that number 8 spot, will be the Cleveland Cavaliers, Brooklyn Nets, Charlotte Hornets at number 9 right now, and the Atlanta Hawks. The New York Knicks are out of it. New York Knicks are out of it. So, Knicks fans, you had your run last season. Where'd they finish last season? 4 or 5? You had your run last season, and unfortunately, it is over. Now we'll see what they do with their beloved coach, Tom Thibodeau. Over in the West, everybody thought Phoenix was going to drop off while CP3 was out. They did not. CP3 is back. They are ready for the playoff run. And right now they are up 8.5 games. In fact, they have clinched the conference. They are going to be the number 1 seed in the West. Question is, who's going to be number 2? And it's right now, it's looking like Memphis, especially what they did to Golden State last night. Golden State had a chance to close the gap on Memphis, could not do it. Right now, Memphis is 5 games up on Golden State with 6 games left to play. That's a wrap. They're in the playoffs. They're going to be in that number 2 seed. Number 3 right now is looking like Golden State. They're a game and a half up on the Mavericks. Dallas could slide into that number 3 spot if they can go on a little bit of a run down the stretch. They got the Lakers tonight or tomorrow. You got the Utah Jazz at number 5. They're a game behind the Mavericks. You got the Denver Nuggets at number 6. Number 7, Minnesota. Number 8, the Clippers, the LA Clippers. They are 4 games up on the New Orleans Pelicans for that number 8 spot. Again, with 6 left to play, that's a wrap. So here we go. If the playoffs started today, which it doesn't, but if the playoffs started today, it would be the Phoenix Suns hosting the LA Clippers. And from what I understand, Paul George is days away from being ready to play. I'm still going with Phoenix in that matchup if that be the case. The Memphis Grizzlies would then take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Patrick Beverly and all the folks down there in Minnesota, y'all, feeling pretty good about yourselves. Y'all pretty hyped, especially when y'all beat up on the Lakers. This ain't the Lakers. That Memphis Grizzly team, I think, is going to make Pat Beverly close your mouth. This ain't Russell Westbrook we're talking about. We're talking about none other than, Mr. Ja Morant. All right, Golden State would be in the number 3 spot. They would take on Denver, and I'm going to be honest with you. This Golden State Warrior team, I would go with Denver in that matchup. I really would. 4 out of 7, y'all. Yeah, the Golden State will not get swept. They got that much talent. 4 out of 7, Denver. Golden State team is beat up. They're not healthy. Golden State. Hey, Amy. All right, and then number 4 versus 5, if it remains that way, would be Dallas against Utah. I refuse to believe in Utah until Utah gets to the NBA, to the conference finals or the NBA finals. Either one. Anything they do between now and then, so what? Teams with a chance to get into that number 8 spot, Minnesota at number 7, Clippers at number 8, Pelicans at number 9. Good story. And then at number 10, the LA Lakers. You know, a lot of folks are finding a lot of pleasure in beating up on the LA Lakers. All right. All I'll say is this. You cannot keep the LA Lakers down for long. Remember when they were down after Kobe? LeBron showed up. What happened? They won a chip. Are they down right now? Heck yeah. But will they be down for long? Nah. And watch this. And I'm not even saying that it will be at the play of LeBron James. I'm saying that the LA Lakers as a franchise, they do what they need to do to get back to where they want to be. Snowman, what's up? Big shout out to you, my brother. Hey. Now, the LA Lakers is not, we're not talking about the Atlanta Falcons. We're not talking about the New York Knicks. We're talking about a team that will invest, that will make trades, that will do, heck, they'll fire people. They will fire general manager Rob Pelinka. They will fire, Kurt Rambis. They will fire everybody but Jeannie Buss if they have to. They will do what they need to do. So everybody get your laughs in now. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm not even a Laker fan. I'm just a sports fan who has seen a franchise hang banners in the rafters. How many times? Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, if the Lakers don't make it, don't be surprised if you see them making moves this offseason that will kind of make you figure out what they're going to do next. Snowman said, well, they better push the plunger now and blow this thing up. I think that's closer than not. I think they're closer to doing that than not. One thing about the Lakers franchise is they are a proud franchise, and with good reason. They're not a proud franchise that doesn't have any success for it. Sometimes when you make changes in the middle of a season, it's a sign of desperation. It's a sign of, you didn't know what you were doing. You tried something, it didn't work. And now you're desperately trying to figure out what to do. If we don't believe that the Lakers already have a plan to make sure that they don't end up like this next season, I'm not saying they're going to be number 1, number 2, and win it all next year. I'm saying they're going to be better than this because they're a franchise that doesn't settle for this level of ineptitude or mediocrity, whichever one you want to look at. So I don't have any doubt that whether they hit the plunger right now or as soon as this thing is over, I already know they got a plan. So again, the Lakers have a chance to play into that number 8 spot. Your play-in folks would be Minnesota, Clippers, Pelicans, Lakers. All right. Spurs. Yeah, Spurs only half game out of that number 10 spot. So the Spurs theoretically could get into that play-in spot. They got a big win last night. Against the Houston Rockets, where Houston tried to make a very furious comeback, and the Spurs held them off. Let me stop for a real quick station identification. We are the lunch break powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, and we are on Roku, courtesy of BS3. In fact, let me get one of my BS3 drops in right here.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
All right, that's who we are right here on the lunch break. And again, glad to be in the building. All right, so now that's NBA action. If you got somebody you want to talk about, something you want to talk about, or you want to text me about any of the NBA teams, hit me up, 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. All right, let's talk a little football. A couple of guys still out there trying to figure out where they're going to go. And we also got some news that some teams that have made decisions about quarterbacks. Still wondering where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up. But now remember, Jimmy Garoppolo is recovering right now. So there's not a lot of surprise that there isn't definitive news on where Jimmy G is going to play. Jimmy G is still recovering from off-season shoulder surgery. And any team that's worth their salt is going to make sure he is, as close to 100 as possible before they start throwing him money their way. Now, the team that has the advantage, because they still have, technically has him on their roster, is San Francisco. And from what I understand, San Francisco has made an offer to keep Jimmy G that is a substantial offer. Now, I don't know if they threw if they backed up the Brinks truck and said, yo, get what you want. But I think that they know that having Jimmy G back one more season gives them a better chance to get back than if they turn the young gun loose with Trey Lance. So we'll see. Keith Henning, NFL question: has Baker Mayfield gotten a job? No, interestingly enough. But here's what I'm hearing as far as the legitimate contenders for Baker Mayfield. Seattle is a legitimate contender to bring Baker in and have him compete with Drew Lock to see who can do what. Another team that may be interested in bringing him in, and you're probably not going to hear about this team until after the NFL draft, and that's Pittsburgh. That is Pittsburgh. Now, remember, blue collar. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, both blue-collar towns. But the one thing that you have with Pittsburgh that you didn't have in Cleveland is you got grown-ups running the organization. I'm not talking about Andrew Berry, because a lot of the stuff that happened before he got there. But if you notice, once he got there, it's like, we want a grown-up at quarterback. And I don't want to get into the legal stuff about Deshaun Watson. I don't want to get into that. I'm not talking about that. I'm definitely not talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. So there you go. But they knew that they couldn't have Baker Mayfield with all the drama and unnecessary stuff that went around him running their franchise. So you get Baker Mayfield in another blue-collar town with a storied football legacy, and you've got people that are going to tell him coming in the door, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to say that. Your wife is not going to be able to do these things, or else you're going to be out of a job. It could work, but I tell you what will stop it from happening is if they are able to get Malik in the draft. If they get him in the draft, you won't see Baker Mayfield in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. Another dark horse team. And some people are going to get mad at me when I say this. Carolina. The Carolina Panthers, again, are trying to figure their situation out through the draft. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, they got a lot more in common than they don't. They have a lot more in common than they don't. And they gave him a shot. I'm talking about Sam Darnold. They gave him a shot, but a guy like Matt Rule is looking for a quote-unquote quarterback that he can hitch his horse to and try and do his thing. And he might. Hey, Donna Coleman-Holman, what's up? He might. Again, if he does not get the quarterback that he's looking for in the upcoming draft, which I'm hearing is Matt Carroll. I'm hearing that they're more interested in Matt Carroll than they are Kenny Pickett, by the way. If they don't get who they want in the draft, you might see Carolina pull a late deal and try and pick up Baker Mayfield. Keith Hennig, thank you. That's one of the many reasons why I rock with you, Keith, because Keith gets it. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are really interchangeable. They're mediocre. They have, flares they have moments, and you can say maybe Baker is more consistent when he's healthy, but hey, Sam Darnold made some plays up in New York with the Jets. He made some plays up in New York with the Jets. So, again, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see Baker Mayfield on a roster in Carolina. All right, so that's to answer Keith's question about if Baker Mayfield has a job. All right, I got a question for you all. Who do you think will be better with their new team? Matt Ryan in Indianapolis or Carson Wentz in Washington? Which one of those do you think will be better with their new team? Matt Ryan in Indianapolis or Carson Wentz with his new team in Washington? Reason why I asked that was both of those teams were not division winners. In fact, in the NFC East, it was Dallas, Philly, Washington. Over in the AFC South, it was Tennessee, Indianapolis, and what happened with Houston and with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Keith Hennig said Matt Ryan easy. And I say this based on a couple of conditions. If the Colts try to let Matt Ryan throw the ball all around the field like he did in Atlanta, I don't know. If they let Matt Ryan blend in with the running game and be strategic with his passing game and not try to make him the Matt Ryan of old, then I think, it's easy Matt Ryan. But if they try to let him just sling that thing like he's 25-year-old Matt Ryan or 28-year-old Matt Ryan, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They will find themselves in a very similar position that they were in this past season, where they're waiting late. They're waiting late to try and see if they can make it in the playoffs, and they most likely don't. What up? What up? What up? The king is here, y'all. I'm talking about King Ivan from Queen 3 and King. They'll be on tonight at 7 o'clock Central, and I'm telling you, I don't even know what the topic is, but I'm going to tell you, do yourself a favor and don't miss it. Queen 3 and King podcast tonight, 7 o'clock. It's going to be live. All right. Keith Hennig, Frank Reich will coach up Matty Ice. He'll be good. I think you're right, but again, some of these offensive coordinators, man, and in this case, Frank Reich is the de facto offensive coordinator, and he is the head coach. Man, some of them make it harder than it needs to be. Just see Kevin Stefanski. Some of them make it harder than it needs to be. And if he hadn't won the Super Bowl this time, I could say the same thing about Sean McVay. He's done it at times where instead of just, doing the logical thing, the sensible thing, they feel like they know better. They feel like the analytics call for this, so they try to do that. And then they got to put a special wrinkle on it, and they got to do this and that. And before you know it, they lose. So I want to believe what Keith Hennig has said. Frank Reich will coach up Matty Ice. I hate that name, but he'll be good. Here's why I think that there's a shot. Here's why I think that there's a shot in Washington. That defense didn't play the way everybody thought it would last year. And everybody thought that, again, Ryan Fitzpatrick and, the Taylor Heineke would have enough for them to be able to get it done with that defense. Let's say that defense had an off year and they kick in this year. Chase Young is healthy. Rest of those studs are healthy, and they kick in this year. Can Carson Wentz be efficient enough to not try to do too much like Taylor Heineke did several times last year, and they stick with the plan and they win a lot of games ugly? Because ugly wins count like finesse wins and blowout wins and, ooh, look at Mac Jones wins. Ugly wins count just as much as those other wins. So I really think that comparison is going to be closer than more folks think on who will have the better success with their new team, Carson Wentz in Washington, or will it be Matt Ryan in Indianapolis? Now, on a higher scale, who's going to have a better career with their team? Will it be Russell Wilson, or will it be one of the other big name quarterbacks that made a change? Now, I'm not calling Aaron Rodgers names or Tom Brady because they basically stayed with their teams. I'm wondering who's going to have the better season between those two. Who's going to have a better season between Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady? That will be something that I will pay attention to. What I find interesting with the quarterback up in Green Bay is that all he talked about this past offseason was how they tried to get rid of him by bringing in Jordan Love, and they didn't get him weapons to be successful. Well, they were 13 and 3 that year that they brought in Jordan Love. Every year that they've been in under Matt LaFleur, they got 13 wins. But then you knew that they were trading away your primary receiver and the receiver who helped you win those 13 games. And watch this. You didn't say a word. You didn't say a word. Now you showed out. You went off about everything else under the sun, including your nasty, funky toe. But when you know that they are trading your primary weapon, because he said he knew, right? Big Mike, didn't he say he knew? He said he knew that they were trading him away, and he didn't say a word. Didn't say a word. Yeah, man. Good question. Who's he going to throw the ball to? Who's going to have a better season this year? Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? All right, stay there. Let me hit another station ID real quick. Another quick station ID right here on the lunch break.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
All right, that's who we are. I'm AJ Jones. It is the lunch break, powered by Jones Media and Entertainment, and on Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV, and you'll see at the end of the show, man, we got a lot of phenomenal content on BS3 TV. So I'll be showing you who, what, when, and where. But again, don't forget tonight, you got Queen 3 and King on at 7 o'clock. Big shout out to my guy who was on earlier, dropped in a little bit. I'm telling you, he's got a powerful show in the morning. Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson. They are two of the best of the best. And for all my Wildcat, Kentucky Wildcat basketball fans out there, they got some cat talk too on the network. And I mean, I love every single bit of it. All right. Like Riggins said, he knew, and he knew Adams was not happy in Green Bay. Yeah, okay. Like I said, he ran his mouth about everything else. But when it came to his favorite receiver, his primary target, what did he say? Nothing. But, I knew. Man, I tell you, boy, just let some people keep talking. Just let some people keep talking. They will let you know they don't know what they're talking about. They just running their mouth to be heard. All right. The news that one of my teams came out about one of my teams on Talk Your Team Tuesday here on the lunch break was that in New Orleans, where Jameis Winston is going back to be the starting quarterback, I can't say nemesis because they're friends. Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are friends. His other quarterback brother is going to focus more this season as a tight end. And I don't know how I feel about that because I like Taysom Hill as a multi-purpose tool in the box. I don't like him primarily as a quarterback. Definitely didn't think he needed to be a running back. So I don't know. I don't know about him working primarily at tight end. It feels kind of, Urban Meyer and that junk that we saw down this offseason in Jacksonville. I don't know. I don't know. I think Dennis Allen is far more mature than Urban Meyer up there with the Tim Tebow thing at tight end down there with the Tim Tebow thing in Jacksonville. But I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. Mike Riggins, what's the deal with Alvin Kamara? He's fine. He's good. Yeah, Alvin's good. He's back. He's ready. He knows what time it is. The other question is, what's the deal with Michael Thomas? And from what I understand, Michael Thomas is healthy and ready to roll once they lace him up in training camp and off-season stuff. So I think New Orleans, again, if the people that they got calling the plays cannot be a huge drop-off from Sean Payton. Oh, who took care of that issue in Vegas? Yeah. Notice you haven't heard a whole lot about it. Notice you haven't heard a whole lot about the issue in Vegas. So if I can't say a word, I'll just wave my hands. So yeah, Michael Thomas is ready to go. If New Orleans can get some decent play calling, and we can get, man, it's amazing how all that other stuff comes in handy. All that other stuff going on right now comes in handy. But again, I think Kamara's gonna be. I think he's gonna be fine. I'm not trying to sweep it under the rug, but I think he's gonna be fine. They got to get some good play calling. Dennis Allen has to be who he was on defense. He got to be who he was on defense. He can't be the head coach and forget how to coach his defense up, because that defense kept them in games that they won, and that defense helped them beat teams that not a lot of people thought that they were going to beat. New Orleans was right there on the cusp of the playoffs. So we'll see. All right, so again, if you want to call me, 832-403-5005. I got lines wide open, 832-403-5005, or you can text me, 832-403-5005. All right, let me go to some of these email messages. Emil, what's going on? Emil said, like that blue, brother. I forgot, Emil is a Sigma. I see. You know what? I finally clicked into what you were talking about, Emil. Emil says, can we talk a little college football? I heard somebody say on your show yesterday that the powers are going to be Alabama, and they said Clemson. Is Clemson going to be all the way back next season? I don't think so. I don't think Cleveland. I don't think Clemson is going to be all the way back next season. I think the teams to watch coming into this year are Alabama. Hate to say it. Georgia, hate to say it. And then you got to kind of figure it out from there. Ohio State is a team that I can see in one of those three spots. But the team that is probably going to fall the farthest, in my mind, literally has a Clemson connection, and that's Oklahoma. For the first time in a long time, that Big 12 could be up for grabs. Because for me, the Big 12 has been Oklahoma and somebody else. I know Baylor won it. I know Iowa State was in the running. Oklahoma State was in the running. But again, we know the cream of the crop in the Big 12 football-wise had been Oklahoma. But, with the changes that they had at Oklahoma, I literally wouldn't be surprised if they finished fourth or lower in the Big 12. It could be Baylor, it could be Oklahoma State, it could be Iowa State, and whoever else. Okay, Captain Trey Pike said Bama, UGA, Ohio State, and he's sliding A&M. Now, A&M supposedly had the best recruiting this offseason. But again, you know, I know Jimbo Fisher has been somewhat consistent. You know, they were just outside of the college football playoffs. I'm sorry, the mythical college football playoffs, the alleged college football playoffs. They've been just outside of that 2 years in a row. Will this be their season to take a step in? We'll see. We'll see. Is there another conference that will get a team in there? No, Keith. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I don't even know if they step into that top 4 in the Big 12. Again, top 3 in the Big 12 for me heading into this season will be Baylor, Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Let's see. Mike Riggin, name people not talking about. USC. You know, Lincoln Riley there, if he can do at USC what he did at Oklahoma, you're right. You're right. And he got a lot coming with him and picked up a lot in that region, in that area, once he got there. It could be. And I was just getting ready to say, does a Pac-12 team finally get back in the mix and stay there? When's the last time a Pac-12 team has been in the mythical college football playoffs? You know, when was the last time? Was it Oregon? And again, look at how Oregon stepped up and, you know, went in there and beat Ohio State, and then they fell apart after that. Is this the year that Utah finally makes a serious push to be in the national spotlight as opposed to just in the Pac-12, title? Let's see. So let's see. USC got you. Okie State should win the Big 12, quite possibly. Very easy schedule. Killed the transfer portal. Kept some talented recruits. Gotcha. Oregon 2015. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oregon was the last team to be in that national mix. And again, look what happened there. Mike Riggins, my Oregon fam, won't like this, but I think that the Pac-12 now runs through USC. I'm not confident this new Oregon staff can get it done. Again, Lincoln Riley is a landscape changer. When Lincoln Riley took over at Oklahoma, a lot of folks thought that there might be some drop off. Anything but. So I think that part is going to be very good. So to answer the original question from Emil, no, I don't think Clemson slides back into the top 4 discussion. They could. I mean, who else in the ACC is going to challenge Clemson? I mean, we saw, Pittsburgh jump out there and they faltered. We saw Wake jump out there and they faltered. And I'm sorry, fans of the U, they still ain't back. So, if Clemson jumps up at the top of the ACC, they shouldn't get the love that Clemson of old got. They shouldn't get the love that Clemson got when it was Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. They should get the same kind of treatment that Boston College and Pittsburgh got. That's what they should get. If they just start loving on Clemson again, like they did when they had Trevor Lawrence and those cats, then you know what it is. You know what time it is. In a year or two, don't sleep on Florida or Miami. They both recently put some really good staffs together. All right. I mean, Coach Trey, I respect you. If you tell me to keep my eye on Miami and Florida, I won't. I will. I'm waiting on the U to be back. And I think they need to get Alonzo Highsmith in that school in some capacity and just rebuild that thing the right way. I believe when that happens, you'll see them back. But Florida, all right, if you say so. Didn't one of them pick up Charlie Strong? I thought one of them brought Charlie Strong in. Mario's going to have to build something great at Miami. Is going to build something great at Miami. Okay, all right. Yeah, I think Miami brought in Charlie Strong. So, yeah, I'll put it this way. I got Miami getting back before Florida gets back. Fair? Is that a fair statement? I think the U gets back before the Gators get back. So we'll see. We'll see. Who's a team that nobody's talking about college-wise now? College-wise. Who's a team that nobody? Captain Trey gave us Miami and Florida. Big Mike gave us USC. Keith Hennick kind of gave us one with Oklahoma State. I would like to see Oklahoma State get some national recognition. For winning the Big 12 and still not making it into, or did Baylor win, and still not making it into the mythical college football playoffs. I'm talking about national recognition. Who could bust on the scene this year that wasn't on it last year or the year before? I thought Kentucky was going to make some noise, but, again, it's the SEC, so you could be up today and in the dirt tomorrow. Penn State is a good one. Man, I tell you what, Michigan laid an egg, man. Michigan made all that noise, got there, and just got embarrassed. I mean, absolutely got embarrassed. Same thing, I'm not going to say Cincinnati got embarrassed. Not a lot of folks had expectation in Cincinnati. I hope there's another group of 5 school, though, that busts into that landscape. Keith Hennick, South Dakota State will be there. Okay, Keith, on the FCS level, you might be talking about something. I got a name for you. Mike Riggins, get out of my head. I was just getting ready to say that. Notre Dame, and because I just really believe that, I'm not going to say that there was burnout with Kelly, but it's almost like every year Kelly would hit a wall and not be able to push through. And I feel like sometimes you just have that little tweak and that next coach can carry them over the hump. And Freeman might be the coach to do that, to put Notre Dame back on that national landscape and keep them there. I like him a lot too, Big Mike. What about Cincinnati? Finkel's apparently going to be at Cincinnati for a while to come. I know he's losing everybody. I mean, he's losing his quarterback. He's losing those 2 defensive backs that are probably going to be top picks in the upcoming draft. Does Cincinnati have a chance to get back? Keith Hennick, what are your thoughts on LSU? None. While I think Brian Kelly can coach, I've always said that about him. I don't know. They play in the SEC. It's all going to depend on who he literally, I know he's got a stopgap quarterback this year, but who's his quarterback in the future? I just, I don't think they're going to be there anytime soon. Mike Patton has chimed in. Good to see you, Mike. Touring the AFC South, said Kelly's a fraud. He can coach, bro. He can coach. Look at Kelly's record before Notre Dame. Dude can coach. But I feel like he hits a wall every year, and he can't get over that. And I think Freeman can do that. All right, let's see. Mike Riggins, we don't think about LSU, Keith. What else y'all got? There's a reason that those guys stayed at Notre Dame. I agree. I think they were done with Kelly at Notre Dame as much as Kelly was done with them at Notre Dame. And sometimes you just got to go your separate ways. What's that song? Let's just kiss and say goodbye. Mike Patton with that fake accent, he surely is a fraud. You know what? I stand corrected because that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Yeah, that was embarrassing. I'll give you that one. That's what I'm telling you, man. Mike Patton touring the AFC South. Y'all got to tune into a show, man. This brother is just absolutely phenomenal, and he does it his own way, and I like that. Has some great guests, great contents, great discussions, and if you're not locked in with touring the AFC South, you're missing out. Brother does really amazing work. Really need to get you connected with the good folks over at BS3 TV, bro. Really got to get you connected with Ben Sutter III and the good folks over at BS3 TV. All right, coming up on that time where I got to wrap it up, but I got to talk about this Final Four. Got to talk about this Final Four coming up on Saturday. Coming up on Saturday. All right, you know the deal. You know the deal. On Saturday, it'll be Kansas and Villanova in game number one. Villanova without their star player. And while there might be somebody who could step up and pick up the scoring and the defense that they've got out that guy, what it definitely does is it kills their depth off the bench. And I got to tell you, when you're playing against a team like Kansas, you're going to have some depth off the bench. Villanova is not going to beat Kansas with 7 players. They're not going to beat Kansas with 6 players, and they certainly are not going to beat Kansas with 5. Man, I'm telling you, out of all of the 4 Final Four teams, the one that I hope wins it all is Villanova, but they probably have the least chance of winning it all. Mike Patton says, I got somebody on that you know very well this week, a few black women you know. Oh, man, you know what? I got to tune in, bro. I got to tune in. I'm all on you this week, bro. I'm all on you because I'm telling you, you do great stuff. Keith Hennig, no one's going to beat Kansas. Well, gosh, man. Here's the thing. If it's Kansas and Duke, I'm not watching. If it's Kansas and North Carolina, I'm not watching. If it's Villanova and anybody, I'm rooting for Villanova. So some kind of way, some kind of magic, some kind of, I don't know, Herculean effort. I don't care. I want Villanova. Because those blue bloods, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, if I had to rate them, here we go. Here out of the Final Four, here's who I can live with. Villanova number 1, North Carolina number 2, and the heck with 3 and 4. The heck with 3 and 4. So we'll see. Heading into this matchup, Villanova is a 4.5-point favorite. The over is 133. I think it could be bigger than that. I really think that Kansas is probably gonna bully undermanned Villanova team around. Mike Patton touring the AFC South. He said, and of course, one of them is from down there in your neck. Man, Mike, you better quit teasing me. I want to know what you got. Send me your lineup, bro. Send me your lineup. Keith Hennig, I'm pulling for Nova too. I just can't see it happening. Al High from the Casual Highlight from the BS3 family says, I'm looking forward to this Final Four. I'm not. I'm telling you, this is one of the worst Final Fours in my life. in my life. I'm not saying in my lifetime. I'm saying in my life. The last thing I wanted was this Final Four. The only way this Final Four could have been worse is if it was UT, Kansas, North Carolina, and Duke. That's the only way it would have been worse. It would have been bad if it was Michigan State and Kansas and North Carolina and Duke. But at least I can root for Villanova. At least I can hold out hope that those Wildcats from Villanova will find a way. They will claw their way up over Kansas, and then North Carolina and Duke will beat each other up so much that all Villanova's got to do is come in there and clean up. Yeah, man, this is Remy Martin gonna have to be smooth as the drink for them to win the title. Let me just say this. Remy Martin can ball. He can definitely ball. He's definitely a game changer when he gets out there on the court. But man, even the best of them have off nights. And I need him to have an off night Saturday. Round 5:09 Central, I need Remy Martin to go ice cold. I sure do. Al High, I'm with you. I wish Houston would have won. I think that they would have given Kansas a run for their money. Let me tell you something. Houston would have played the best defense on Kansas that they would have seen all year long. And if you go look back at Kansas's history this year, when they've been D'd up, like Houston could D them up, they've lost those games. Kansas is not unbeatable. Kansas is not rolling into this thing, 38-1. What, Kansas has 6 losses this year? So, I believe that if Houston could have got to Kansas and played their style of defense, Kansas would have been in trouble. Kansas would have been in trouble. Keith had watched the officiating. Coach K's last ride. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something right now. If the NFL, if the NCAA whips these other teams with that whistle so that Coach K can ride out on top, damn them. And I mean it. Damn them all. Damn them all. I mean it. I mean, I'm at that stage of my life where I got to pick and choose where I put my attention. I got to pick and choose where I put my interest. And I'm definitely going to pick and choose where I put my emotions. And that's why I'm not getting caught up in what happened the other night. I'm not going to get upset about what other people think I should get upset about. I'm not going to have an opinion about what other people think I should have an opinion about. If the NCAA allows those referees to go in there and fix this thing so that Coach K can go out on top, damn them. And I mean Coach K, Duke, the NCAA, and everybody associated with them. I mean it. Sorry. You mean, Mike Patton, so he said, you mean you need Remy Martin to go on the rocks? Yes. Well played, sir. Well played. Villanova needs 18 threes to beat KU. Now, I don't need all that. They don't need all that. They have all those threes and they beat Houston. They just got to, look, they got to hit their threes and they got to hit their frees. That's what they got to do. Hit your threes and hit your frees. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Look, y'all, I got to get ready to go. This is a lot of fun. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Again, y'all stay tuned in to us. Keep us focused on what we need to be talking about. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Winning Wednesday, and I will give you the latest standings in the lunch break bracket challenge. We got some folks that are on top, but we got some folks that could be dark horses and sneak up if one of the expected teams does not win the championship. All right, before we go, let me get Sybil Wilkes on with what you need to know, and then we'll come back with the BS3 lineup. Hey, Sybil.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. More questions than answers about Brittany Griner, the WNBA Phoenix Mercury basketball player detained in Russia on drug charges. She got a shout-out of sorts at the Academy Awards Sunday night. Ben Proudfoot, director of the Queen of Basketball, won the Oscar for Best Documentary Short. At the end of his speech, he said, "One last thing, President Biden, bring Brittany Griner home." A lot of questions, but as some WNBA colleagues are saying, they've been told not to make a big fuss about Griner's detention. Lisa Leslie said in a recent podcast, they were told not to make a big fuss or they could use her as a pawn, so to speak, in this situation in the war. Number 2. Thousands of Central and Southern California grocery workers have voted to authorize their union to call a strike against several major supermarket chains. About 47,000 workers at hundreds of Ralph's, Albertsons, Vons, and Pavilions voted. The possible walkout would involve grocery clerks, meat cutters, pharmacists, and pharmacy technicians represented by 7 locals of the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union. Number 3. Anyone 50 years and older could soon be eligible for a second booster dose of the Moderna or Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. The Food and Drug Administration is expected to authorize the additional booster shots without holding a meeting of its independent vaccine advisors. And as BA2, an even more contagious version of the Omicron variant, continues to spread in the U.S., the concern is mounting. It could fuel another surge. Number 4. A Ratcliffe, Kentucky police officer is accused of running over an unarmed black man suspected of trespassing. According to a lawsuit, the victim, Anthony Gray, suffered several physical and mental injuries, including a fractured left tibia. The lawsuit, which names the city and several officers as defendants, is requesting a jury trial and unspecified monetary damages. Number 5, California Secretary of State Shirley Weber is one of 3 Black women Democrats focused on expanding voting rights across the country who hold the position overseeing elections and securing voting infrastructure throughout their states. The other 2, Lee Chapman in Pennsylvania and Tahisha Way in New Jersey, hold these posts that have become higher profile statewide offices as the battle over voter access has amplified in recent years. Read more about the groundbreaking women in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Contrary to popular belief, it can sometimes be too late. Start living your best life today. Join me today, live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, with political contributor Cameron Riley and comedian extraordinaire Damon Williams, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
Thank you very much there, Sybil Wilkes, for giving us what we need to know. All right, y'all, without further ado, let me get ready to let you know what's going on at BS3 TV. Ben Sutter III doing an amazing job building an amazing family of great content, and I'm telling you, you're going to want to know about it. As for me, I'll be back tomorrow with Winning Wednesday. So as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. All right, y'all, here's what's happening at BS3 TV.